how do phospholipids interact with water molecules? So, with that being said, phospholipid, the one I think of, at least when they mention this, I think of the phospholipid bilayer. This is when it refers to cells, specifically, I guess animal cells will have this. And the phospholipid bilayer kind of looks like this. There's the, as I said, the polar head and the hydrophobic tail. And the reason I call it bilayer is because then we have the other side, where the hydrophobic parts point inwards. Sorry, let me so I can redraw that. So in a sense, it just keeps going around, and this is kind of like what the what they refer to as a phospholipid bilayer for cells. Okay, we have a polar outside and a non-polar inside. Okay, and that's the best thing I think of when it comes to phospholipid bilayer, and it's because I remember this is how I can tell how it interacts with molecules. And as I said, this would be the head, and this will be the tail of it. Okay, so now let's see what each answer says. It says a hydrophilic head avoids water, the hydrophobic tails attract water. So here, it's actually giving us a lot of information. They say hydrophilic. Now when it says philic, it means loving. So hydrophilic means water loving. There's no way a water loving something will avoid water. So you can already guess based on this what the next part will say. It says a hydrophilic head interacts with water while the hydrophobic tail avoids water. Hydrophobic kind of translates to, water fearing, okay? And it's just another way of saying that it doesn't want to interact with it. So what's happening this now, the way you think about it is that for the phospholipid bilayer, we have like polar stuff on the outside and stuff like that, and it's able to now, I guess, hold its shape because the water-loving side interacts with it, but the water, I guess, avoiding side doesn't let things just easily pass through. You need to be a very small solute or something to pass through a phospholipid bilayer, because typically, if you're polar, you're not going to get through the tail part. Okay. With that being said, B is currently looking like the best choice. And now for C, it says phospholipids do not interact with water because water is polar and lipids are non-polar. So funny enough, C is also very wrong because phospholipids specifically is that phosphorus part that serves as its polar head part. And the lipid that extends out of it is the non-polar tail. So to say that lipids are non-polar technically isn't incorrect, but phospholipid is a combination of a polar and a non-polar side. With all that being said, the best choice is indeed B, because it says that the hydrophilic head, which is where the phosphorus and stuff is, interacts with water, while the hydrophobic tail, which is where all the lipids and the fats are, avoid water, which is typically what you see in the phospholipid bilayer. Okay, so with that being said, they say the answer choice is indeed B. Phospholipids is able to interact with water because of the hydrophilic head, but the parts that don't want to interact with water are the hydrophobic tails, which is a long chain of hydrocarbon of fatty acids. So this is correct. So question number 8.